The day after Omar's visit, the atmosphere in Njobam's household was tense. Despite the dire warning, the wives struggled to find common ground. Each was willing to try for Njobam's sake, but the years of jealousy and resentment were not easy to forget. They made small attempts to be cordial, sharing household tasks and sitting together for meals. However, the conversations were strained, and every action was weighed with suspicion. Njobam's condition, meanwhile, grew worse. His skin became pale, his breathing shallow. The village elder, watching the situation with concern, urged the wives to set aside their differences. Njobam's life depends on your unity, he reminded them. Omar's warning was clear. You must find a way to come together, or all will be lost. Kesai, the youngest wife, suggested performing a healing ritual using the herbs Omar had left behind. This ritual needs all of us, she said. Each of us has to play a part for it to work. It's our last hope. The wives agreed, seeing the ritual as their final chance to save Njobam. They gathered in Njobam's chamber, arranging the herbs in a circle around his bed. As they held hands and began to chant ancient prayers, a strange wind blew through the room, stirring the herbs and filling the air with a faint glow. Njobam's body seemed to respond, his eyes flickering open for a moment. Hope filled the room. The wives felt a connection they had never experienced before, as if their combined efforts were finally making a difference. But just as the ritual was about to reach its climax, an argument broke out between Ada and another wife, Zina. You're not saying the words correctly, Ada accused, her voice sharp. And you think you can do better? Zina shot back, her eyes flashing with anger. The circle broke as the wives began to argue, voices rising in frustration. The glow around Njobam faded, and the wind turned icy, sweeping through the room like a harbinger of doom. The tension was palpable, and the moment of unity was lost. Njobam's eyes opened briefly. He looked at his wives, his face etched with pain. His lips moved, trying to form words, but no sound came out. He whispered Omar's name one last time before his eyes closed, and his breathing stopped. Njobam was gone. A heavy silence fell over the room. The wives stared at Njobam's lifeless body, the reality of their failure sinking in. Suddenly, Omar appeared at the doorway, her expression sorrowful. Your inability to unite has sealed Njobam's fate, she said softly. The curse is upon you all. From your discord, misfortune will spread through this village. Without another word, Omar disappeared, leaving the wives in a state of shock and despair. News of Njobam's death spread quickly through the village, and the people mourned the loss of their once great leader. But soon, other calamities began to befall the village. The crops withered and died, the river that sustained them dried up, and a strange sickness spread among the people. The villagers, seeing the misfortunes as a sign of the curse, began to shun Njobam's wives, blaming them for the village's downfall. The wives, filled with guilt and sorrow, realized that their inability to come together had doomed not only Njobam, but the entire village. In a final act of remorse, they gathered at Njobam's grave. Tears streamed down their faces as they begged for his forgiveness. We are sorry, Njobam, they cried. We failed you. We failed our people. Please forgive us. They vowed to honor Njobam's memory by living in harmony, even if it was too late to save him. They spent the rest of their lives trying to atone for their mistakes, working together to help the village, but the curse remained. The once prosperous village was never the same, its wealth and joy lost forever. Njobam's story became a legend, a cautionary tale told to children a reminder of the consequences of greed and disunity. The 12 wives, now old and weary, lived with the sorrow of their choices, forever bound by a love they had never fully understood and a loss they could never mend. And so, the legacy of Njobam and his 12 wives lingered on, a shadow over the village of Cameroon, a tale of what could have been, if only they had learned to love and trust one another.